that actually relates to food export certificates. So whenever a company on the world is actually producing safe food to go out of the board for shipment abroad, our environmental health team are the ones that go in and actually provide a license for that and can make a reasonable charge. And then the final bit of that option is we have got an agreement with the Port Health Authority which will save us around £45,000 for that levy.
Thanks. Just to get in perspective, that 45,000, what's the total amount we pay for Port Health? Yeah. How much of a reduction is that?
Under food safety, this new 5-star scoring system we can see up in all the eateries now, it's quite popular. There's a danger that this might get weeded out on this. Is there any way that that could become an income generator? Because if your business got 4 or 5 stars, it's a really good selling point for your business. So it could be something that people would be willing to pay for.
Yeah, thank you for you, Chair. Certainly we can potentially review any income sources that way. Just to give members some reassurance, there are obviously a whole series of important statutory obligations that the environmental health team deliver. This is all about restructuring the team to actually look at more generic working and actually smartening up the way that the team works. I'm absolutely confident that we'll make this saving and continue to deliver all of those core statutory obligations, covering the kind of things that the Council referred to.
Yeah, just I think one final point that I might. In the more detailed report, it talks about there's a nice word in there which is could. It could impact on various emerging issues and the wording is used. Presumably, we do try to do some sort of risk analysis on this. It's because ultimately, I mean, it looks okay. It doesn't immediately impact on the public, but it clearly serves a vital purpose and role currently. And I think that the councillors just need to seek some kind of reassurance that actually how much of an impact is this likely to make on the services it is providing.
Through you, Chair, we're obviously as a council in a very difficult financial position, having to make savings, and we're obviously getting into territory that certainly a year or two ago we wouldn't have looked at. However, we are doing our best under difficult circumstances. With options like this, we do carry out an assessment of the risks, and a lot of this is down to the professional judgment of our environmental health senior manager and officers. And as I say, our position is that we are confident that under the circumstances we can deliver an option of this nature and keep risks to a minimum.
Okay, thank you. Right, from environmental health we move to certainly more public eye, rural mobility. David, if you'd like to.
Okay, thank you, Chair. This is a budget option that proposes a comprehensive review of all the current operations of the rural pavilion, and from that review it's proposing as part of this option to make £200,000 saving in 14-15 and £200,000 in 15-16. The aim here is to look at the floral, to continue with many of the things it's doing at the moment, but we think it's an opportunity to develop out into new areas. And so we want to have a comprehensive review of the current events and activities there. We want to explore how we can operate more effectively and efficiently through more electronic use of communication and online booking of tickets and those types of initiatives. And we also want to explore alternative delivery models for the forum to enable it to operate in a commercial environment, which it is placed in obviously in competition with other theatres and events venues. So that's the summary of the budget option before you. I'm happy to answer any questions that members may have.
Thanks, Steve.
Well, not a question, a comment really. In the real world and the difficult financial situation we're in, which I don't think anybody pretends that the region is anything other than massive cuts in our grant. We created a showcase venue which everybody enjoys. We delivered it on time, in budget, and now we're moving to the phase where any good business should do is look at the operation costs of all these particular units. My view is that we are subsidising, public payers are subsidising for million. It's our duty in effect to actually make a bigger ask of what is a great facility. Reading through some of the work that the working class has done and some of the information we've gathered in between time, it isn't, and again, not suspected there, we have an average, a higher average age of customer at the Royal Pavilion than smaller theatres. So there's a market for younger people and a younger audience there that might get a bit more difficult. We have some working practices in there that would make your hair curl, quite frankly, we had some. But they would, in terms of operation costs and particularly issues with the amount of bar staff that we have. So there's certainly no problem in making a big ask of something that can be run more efficiently. Obviously we're in the detail and how those operation costs affect what we put on, but there's certainly scope there for doing that organisation more efficient. Whether we generate the level of savings that is anticipated, but if you don't set an ambitious target, you won't get results. My view is the opposite. We look at it, some of the practices that take place, and we can get more for our pound within the floor. Very popular, and I don't think we're making as much out of it as possible. So my view would be that we encourage the cabinet to investigate this further.
Steve.
The report gives me a little bit of concern with the dialogue of the report is saying that the office is going to have a review of all aspects. And somehow it's been quantified to 200,000 for the first 2 years. Nothing in the report suggests how or where you're going to get those figures from. How are those figures quantified?
I've had responsibility for the floor pavilion since April of this year. And one of the first tasks when I was given that responsibility was to have a good look at the business plan and to review all areas of the operations. Some of the additional ideas that we would want to look at are the following, which may help you to see how some budget figures in terms of potential savings were arrived at. If you look at the operations of most theatres up and down the country, all of them operate with some kind of booking fee that actually covers the cost of the tickets and the administration of those. The floor doesn't. The second area is that most of the theatres up and down the country have a significant amount of contact online. I think the floor has something like 150,000 electronic contacts on its database, but you'll find that probably most of the ticket sales are done over the counter, and we're not maximising the lines. Now clearly, if you do things through online booking and through electronic means, that's more efficient and effective, will help you to save money on those things. We also are beginning to look at new markets. I think Council perhaps has already identified that the floor pavilion is an excellent facility that the Council has invested in. But in terms of making the most use of the building, I don't think that that is happening at the moment. The most efficient way to use the building is, if you know it, it's effectively in two halves. It has the theatre on one side, and then it has the conference facilities and then the space on the other. And what we need to try and do is maximise the use of that space at the same time, so it's got a range of events going on, so that your staff costs are there, but you're running two events, and that's probably not happening to the extent it is. We have opportunities for new markets like weddings, where we're beginning now to pick that up, and that's bringing in additional income. So without going into too much detail at the moment, there are a number of opportunities that we've identified that we're now exploring in detail, which we think will enable us to bring more income in to the floral pavilion on the one hand, and the other hand is that by a more efficient and effective use of technology and the building spaces in there, that we can actually reduce the costs as well. So the result of that is that we think that we can, over the next couple of years, drive out some significant savings for the public purse, and that's how those figures were arrived at. Now they are challenging figures, and I make no apology for having those as challenging figures, because I think what it's helped to do is really focus the mind and attention on looking at these issues in detail. Councillor Flax may be right that we might not reach the full level of target in the first year, but I think setting those demanding targets was the right way to do it, because we've already got a whole range of new initiatives coming out, new ideas, new options, things that are being looked at that previously weren't being looked at all. So that would be my response to you on that, Councillor.
Through you, Chair. David, can I just ask, on the floral pavilion, it says that the council subsidies of 800,000 a year, but then it says further down that the floral pavilion has consistently exceeded its budget allocation by around 200,000. So is the saving of the 2 years not giving them the extra 200,000 that they've not met in their revenue? Or was the original budget 630 and they've overspent by 200,000, so the budget became 830? So they're not in effect saving 200,000, they're just not having an extra subsidy of 200,000. Is that what it is?
Yeah, I'll try and clarify that. From my understanding, over the past 2 years, the floral pavilion has overspent by approximately 200,000 in each year. What we're trying to achieve is a position where we don't overspend, so that 200,000 isn't an overspend figure. And further to that, what we're then trying to do is to take a further 200,000 off the 830 subsidy that the council currently puts in. Okay. Now, the reason behind that is that my personal view is, having looked at this in detail, I'm not 100% certain why the floral is overspending. It shouldn't be if it's managed in the right way, I'll put it like that. And, you know, we need to control that expenditure. And certainly, my responsibility as the head of service from April is to make sure that we try and control that expenditure, and then I try and reduce the subsidy that the council puts into the building. Now, sorry, one final point, that I think that is doable because there are commercial opportunities at the floral, and there are different ways of doing things that we're not maximising at the present time. And I think if I can introduce those over time with member support, then it will get us to a much healthier and more commercial position with the floral pavilion, whilst at the same time retaining the facility as a significant asset for the residents of Wirral and beyond.
So was the actual subsidy in previous years 1 million and 30?
It was, yes, it was over that.
It's an example really of a little bit of bad budgeting that still goes on, because it's really the budget for this year should be 1 million. So it's actually quite a challenging target, but I don't think it's really what
Through you, Chair, you just can't you can't increase budgets because people overspend. Do you know what I mean?
It's a challenging one, but nonetheless, it probably there are opportunities, I think, to items 3 and 4 at the same time here, because as a member of the task group where we consider these budget options, I think if we carry on in this same vein, if we go over the same ground, then reviewing a document that discusses the point, should we not be just looking at both of these documents at the same time? Because questions are being asked that were answered as part of the scrutiny process.
I don't have a problem with that, although I just want to go through some of the principles that we talked about in when we come to item 4. But clearly, if and this is an example, and you're absolutely right, where some reference we could easily make. We've got, I'm not going to discuss the floral pavilion again. It wasn't my intention to discuss the floral pavilion again when we come to the next item, because we will have covered it here. And hopefully, if members have read the report in item 4, they will pick up those comments anyway. So, but yeah, where it's appropriate, I think you're right. You should.
If we could at least lead the members to the points raised, because there must be a lot.
I didn't want to do that because I get shouted at about trying to point people point anybody in any direction. Right, go on. Anybody else? Eddie.
Thank you, Chair. Just a question. I don't like hidden charges anywhere. So if you're going to book and it's £20, and you're then saying on top of that you're going to have a booking fee of X, Y, and Z, why not in the first instance turn around and say the charge is £22 and that's it? Because there isn't. If you're buying for 10 people, say for a pantomime or something like that, you come up with a figure of X amount. Then on top of that, you've got this hidden figure that comes out. Why can't you just turn around and say the figure is X, full stop?
Okay, thank you, Chair. In terms of the booking fee that we look to apply, we're not going to do that in any way that is hidden. So what will be clear is there will be a ticket price for the event, and then there will be clarity that there will be a booking fee of £1 per ticket to cover the administration costs. We can't legally, when we book shows or when we negotiate with producers and others, have a way whereby the ticket price is just £21 and we hide the booking fee. So everything will be open and transparent and will be clear, so that when people are booking, they're clear what they're looking for.
I'm not point with you in what you're saying about booking fees, because the situation is, if it's going to cost you X amount to go into that theatre, that's the figure you will pay. Forget booking fees or whatever, you don't have to apply a booking fee, it is X amount to go in.
It isn't that simple, but the way that these things work in theatres right the way across the country, and you've probably accounted this, you book shows and various things. What there will be is there will be a price for the ticket for the event, and then many places apply a booking fee, which is a lot higher than what we're proposing to introduce at the floor, and that is to cover the administration costs of the tickets and things like that. So you need to have those things open and transparent so that people can see when they're purchasing a ticket for an event that the cost is, say, £20 a ticket, and there is that booking fee to cover the administration costs. Does that help, or is that clear?
Some shows or artists are booked on a share of the ticket takings, but we would be able to protect the share of the booking fees for ourselves. That's how a lot of shows are done. I'm not seeing Brian Ferry to put a night that we failed, and I have to pay a booking fee, but I don't think Brian Ferry's going to get any booking fee.
Eddie, you're right. I mean, it's extremely frustrating, isn't it, for anybody buying a ticket to be faced with a booking fee. But I mean, the points that have been raised, and we discussed it at some length in our work group as well. Unfortunately, that's the system that we seem to have in not just in the Royal Pavilion, but in all theatres, the length and breadth of the land. But it's a right pain, if you want to a better description. Okay, any other points on the floor of the pavilion? Thanks, David. Next item is improved memorial service, I should say. Actually, Mark, well, I know you did, but I was just going the kennels, again, to me, it seems that quite a worthwhile initiative. It's £40,000. I wouldn't want to discourage it. I think there are issues, and it'll come up with, also with the it's just a general point actually, because somebody might mention. It's always difficult where you've got paid employees and volunteers working together. It can cause a bit of friction. But in essence, again, I wouldn't want to stand in the way of this proposal. Mark?
I take it if we follow that option over removes in the future this kind of combined service with Regeneration or that was an option that we discussed. I take it doing this.
You did. I'm not sure whether we might use that.
Yeah.
Maybe there's an overall element. I'm not quite sure how that would be combined in the future, whether that involves dogs going to.
No, it doesn't. Chair, it doesn't. The Knowsley proposal is off the table now.
Is it on the table?
Yes, the volunteers are taking over,
Okay. Okay.
which was a very positive move.
Yeah. Agreed.
For them as well.
Agreed. There's your answer. Mark, it's off the table. Okay. We're doing very well. Moving on. CCTV monitoring team. Again, I must admit that this is going back to something that was discussed at Royal Pavilion. This is something maybe should have been done some time before, but again, it was a fantastic idea.
Thank you, Chair. This proposal is one that involves the closure of the current council CTV control room. On the basis really that the service now will involve an awful lot of duplication from that to be provided by the Joint Police Fire and Rescue Service control room, which has been developed in Bootle. The current control room captures images and monitors images from about 111 cameras in the room, and supports the work of the community control team and the work of the police as well in the room, as well as some non-CCTV functions as well. I think those are just in this now. The police, Merseyside Police and the Fire Rescue Service on Merseyside have been talking to us over the last few months around having greater access to our cameras. They're going to have central control of movement today, and they want to capture the images, use the images of all CCTV around Merseyside, and this is just one sort of element of that to be picked up in Bootle. And what we felt was that it was just then, if they're going to be doing that through technology which enables the pictures to be sent down to Bootle through cable, then that it really is just going to duplicate what we do here. So we're taking the opportunity to, on that basis, put forward this as a proposal. The value of it is around 420,000. It involves 12 posts. There's 11 people in posts currently. As I say, the cameras will remain with the council, and we'll still have the responsibility for the capture and transmission of CCTV images, and the ability to influence where they're placed as well. It doesn't affect traffic management cameras at all, this regard. But as I say, in terms of the non-CCTV functions, the intention is that they will be picked up a small part of the role of that team, and they will be picked up through changes in current management practices of the community control supervisors. They will pick up those elements of that work, to not the monitoring of the images. So this is the proposal. Question.
Thanks, Ian. Just picking up actually the point that Paul raised before. When we looked at this in our Tuscan finish group, one area we kind of touched on was where we've got central control over street lighting. Where we've got central control over street lighting. Is it possible that this central control would be able to operate that system councilman or whatever the lighting is set to, or is that going to be done in another way?
For you, Chair, if I get this right, in terms of the idea of a central management system to specific item. We might pick that up on later on the agenda. There is a discussion now as to whether that's the long-term way forward or not. It may not be, but we might come back to that.
But we currently do have it, I'm right in saying. When we started the process, we started.
It's a separate
Okay,
item.
all right.
Further on.
It does, but it's pertinent to this because if we've got a central control which is run by the police and the fire brigade, we've dimmed the lights in a particular